Hello, I'm Manasi.
Hello, I'm Narelle and we are Bread and Roses. We design programs and work with organisations to support the economic empowerment of women. And in our final video, we're going to walk you through what intersectionality looks like in action. So you've done your groundwork, hopefully taking an intersectional approach, and you have selected who you're going to work with and what you're going to offer them. So for example, you may have chosen to work with female entrepreneurs from a migrant and refugee background to offer them a financial education program connected to business. Or you may have identified a need for tenancy education for international students. So where do you go from here? So in this video, we're going to step you through a few fundamentals in putting intersectionality into action.
So, talking about fundamental steps, one of the steps could be doing an organizational capability check. This is to ensure that your organization has the right skill sets and resources, ensuring those skill sets and resources are meeting the customer needs. Asking yourselves if you have the right workforce. As we said, one of the intersectional approach is to have a diverse workforce, because diverse workforce will bring in the cultural expertise, lived experience, different languages, and trusted community connections. This would ensure that the program or the service that you have is really penetrating to the grassroots level and is addressing the needs which the community might have. Then it's doing a check on the resources that your organization has. Now, while offering a financial literacy program or services, you don't have to really offer the sun and the moon and everything in between, but knowing what you are best at or what resources you can have access to. Do those resources need to be translated in another language, or there is a translated material already available which you can access? In organizational context, it is kind of this, that you're offering what you are best at, and it is also meeting the needs of the community.
And Mansi, would you say that when organisations are doing a capability check, that it is also important that they're not only examining what the skill set that they have internally, but they're also recognising the skill sets that they need to bring in from external organisations as well? So, it could be anything. It could be interpreters, it could be making the decision that they need to hire different people from different cultural and language groups to come in to deliver programs.
Definitely. Hence, this is what we call it as organizational capability check.
So the next step that we would like to talk about is a needs analysis, a really important part of intersectionality in action. And really it is all about digging as deep as you possibly can to understand the needs of the people that you're wanting to work with. And the way to do that is to ask questions, but to ask the right questions. And so we take the approach that, often you might need to ask the questions in language. You can ask them directly to the people that you're planning to work with, or if that's not appropriate, then we find that we might ask the questions of the group leaders or the faith leaders. If you don't have the skills within your organisation to ask questions in language, then often, you can utilise interpreters, which we do quite a lot, or you can collaborate with different organisations in your network that have the diverse workforce to call on. We have a couple of mantras that we like to use in this part of the work. And our first mantra that we repeat to ourselves a lot is to don't assume, just ask. So it really is about breaking down those stereotypes that we've spoken about in earlier videos that can form often sort of dangerous and quite lasting perceptions.
That is so true, Narelle, and we love their mantra that don't assume, just ask. And asking the right questions is really the secret sauce, isn't it, to intersectional approach. And but it depends also on the context and who you're working with. So, for example, if a program or service doing financial literacy work asks participant how their money management skills is, well, I'm not sure if it will fly well, because money management skills is a vague term and it's not easily translatable in any other language. Like if I had to say it in Hindi, I'll probably say it in a paragraph, not just one word. So instead, you can ask questions such as, do you need to know about how to budget or save? Do you need to know about Australian banking system or superannuation system or taxation system, for instance? Or do you know your rights in regards to being a tenant or a landlord? Or do you know where to go if you faced financial hardship? Also, if you're working with a certain population group, knowing what they prefer in terms of the program delivery can be helpful as well. So, for example, where would they like to meet? Is there, a faith-led place that they would usually meet, and you could go there? Or if they would love the program to be delivered to them online in a COVID safe way, or face to face, or if there's any childcare needs to be addressed, and so on and so forth. So of course there are a suite of steps that you can take to have a truly intersectional practice in developing a program or service. We have just taken you through two of them, which we think are at the core of an intersectional practice, and those being organizational capability check and doing a participant needs analysis. Hopefully all this information is helpful to you in your program planning and service planning. We at the Bread and Roses, we are program incubators and consultancy service dedicated to economic empowerment of women and people who identify as women. We work with organizations and government bodies, corporates, and not-for-profits to develop impactful and innovative ways to ensure that the financial resilience and economic equality of women is met.